Well, Tony, welcome to Darlington Football Club. It's you've had a long career in the game. You were at Borough for a few seasons before you made your debut at 18 in October 2004, and you were skipper of the team that won the FA Youth Cup.
Yeah, many moons ago now, but it was something as a young boy coming through the academy. We came through, we had a great team. To obviously captain that team that won the FA Youth Cup was amazing, and I think looking back now, that kick-started a lot of our careers, winning that Youth Cup. If you look at players that came through, and after that it was a conveyor belt really. It was one after the other, and looking back, it was a special time. But like I say, that Youth Cup team was some team, and that gave us a platform to move forward as professional footballers. And then to go on to make my debut at Old Trafford in the Premier League, something that I dreamt of throughout all my academy days. Every day I used to go in, I used to work hard, I used to maximise everything that I had to get that one appearance in the Premier League. That's all I ever wanted to do as a kid, and I was lucky enough to go and play a few times in the Premier League for Middlesbrough, which is a dream come true, really.
Yeah. How did you feel that day when Steve McLaren must have pulled you to a training session and said, "You're playing at Old Trafford tomorrow"?
Well, it was funny because I'd just seen him last week in the golf club, and he mentioned it. And the best thing he ever done, he didn't tell. It was me and James Morrison, my best friend, and we'd come all the way through the system together. And he pulled us up. It was about 1:10. We're just walking into a meeting, and I remember it as clear as day. And he pulled us both together, and he's like, "Right, you're playing right back. You're playing right back. You're playing right wing. You played together many times. Just go and enjoy it." And it was like, and we both looked at each other, walked in the meeting. The gaffer named the team, and that was it. We were at the ground, and before you know it, we were on the pitch. And I do remember one instant. I was stood in the tunnel, and obviously I'm a Man United fan growing up.
Yeah.
And I remember standing there looking around and looking at the tunnel, looking at the players, thinking, "Wow." I was in a bit of a daydream. I remember Chris Riggett slapped me on the back of the head. Come on, game time now. Yeah. That was it. I was focused, and the day couldn't have gone any better. A 1-1 draw at Old Trafford, and still got the man of the match champagne here, which stands proudly in my house.
You played up against Ryan Giggs as well that day, didn't you? So you must have done all right if you got the man of the match performance.
Yeah, obviously growing up, Giggs was one of my heroes as well. So to make my debut against him was special. And they kept switching the two wingers. There was a certain man, Cristiano Ronaldo, on the other side who kept coming over and kept having to have a little kick with him. So yeah, it was a tussle. But looking back, it was an unbelievable day, and like I say, it was one that I'm immensely proud of.
Yeah. Later on in that season, Borough were on Match of the Day, and you were given high praise by Alan Hansen, of all people, for your performance. I think you were sat at home, weren't you, just watching it?
Yeah, I was laid in bed and was watching Match of the Day like I've done every Saturday night, and I was with my wife, and we just laid there. We had no kids back then, so we were just chilling, watching that, and here we are talking about me. My mum and dad came running up the stairs like, "You heard it, you heard it." It was like, just sat looking at the telly thinking, wow, they're actually talking about me. But things like that, you don't really, you just take it in your stride back then. You're a young lad, and all you want to do is play football. But when you have a chance to actually look back, and it's something that it was unbelievable. People like Alan Hansen talking about you, singing your praises. Gary Neville giving me a shirt after the game, making my debut, wishing me all the best, saying it was one of the best performances he's ever seen for a young lad. And just little things like that you don't really appreciate at the time. Not that you don't appreciate, you're young and all you want to do is play football. But when you look back, it was special.
Yeah, you played quite a few games over the rest of that season for the Borough, didn't you? And you also played 4 games in the UEFA Cup. For example, Lazio and Villarreal. So again, that must have been more great experience for you.
Yeah, definitely. I remember the Lazio game at home. That I've always said that was one of my favourite games for Middlesbrough. The atmosphere, and it was electric that night, and we were brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We beat them 2-0, and we were top drawn. Again, it's one of them that, looking back, keep saying it, but at the time it was Lazio. It was another game at home. You're a young lad, the adrenaline's pumping, and it was special, special times for Middlesbrough as well. Not just us young lads who were playing, but a special time for the club. The club were flying at the time in Europe, and so we were lucky enough to experience them big European nights at the Riverside.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the following season you picked up an injury, didn't you? And you missed most of it. And that was a season when Borough got as far as the UEFA Cup final. So it must have hurt you a bit to miss more Premiership matches and such a great run that Borough had. Because remember, they had a couple of matches when they were 3-0 down, weren't they? And ended up winning them.
Yeah, the next season was the season I broke my leg. I broke my leg away at Liverpool, and it's tougher missing all them games, because you see people, you see the games, and you see everything highlighted around the Premier League, and you just want to be a part of it. And obviously having that taste the previous season, I just wanted more and more. So when you get an injury, and injuries are part and parcel of football, I know that now, but it's hard to take at the time, and you're missing all them Premier League games, you're missing them European nights. But obviously I knew I had to work hard to get back, and that's what I did, and nothing was going to ever stop me getting back playing. And yeah, it was a broken leg, and you've seen people have to retire from stuff like that, but that was never a question in my mind, and I was determined to get back, and luckily I did that, and got back in the team and got back playing games for Middlesbrough.
Yeah, you were playing for the Borough for 8 years until 2012. It must have hurt you when you finally did leave the Riverside and went to Sheffield United.
Yeah, at the time I always said I wanted to finish my career at Middlesbrough. And looking back, sometimes it doesn't happen, but I probably should have stayed for as long as I could. We sort of agreed a new contract, then the club sort of moved the goalposts a little bit. So it was a bit like, do we sign, do we not sign? Sheffield United, it dragged on a little bit, and then Sheffield United made me a great offer, which was another massive club. I played, lucky enough to play at both Sheffield clubs, and they're both huge clubs. And it was a new chapter. Yeah, it was sad to leave, because obviously I had so many memories there, so many friends, and knew the club inside out. Mm-hmm. So it was a new challenge, but it was the one that I liked, and it was, like I said, going to another massive team.
Yeah, you had 18 months at Sheffield United, and then you went to Blackpool for a year and a half after that, and playing every week.
Yeah, went to Sheffield United, and I went there in League One when they were in League One, and that season we lost in the playoffs, and we should have really went up. And if the club went up, like you've seen previously, it's just a club that is only going one way. It just needed to get out of that league, and you've seen what they've done since they got out of the league. They're now established in the Premier League. So at the time, I probably should have left in the summer, but I stayed until the January. Nigel Clough came in, and he didn't want me to go. He brought me in and said that Blackpool have come in for me. And Blackpool were a championship team at the time. But he said he didn't want me to go, but he understood if I wanted to go back into the championship, and that's what I did. I went to Blackpool and stayed there till the summer, and loved it. We stayed up. It was a tough 3-4 months, but it was one that I loved. Good manager. Barry Ferguson brought me in, and I loved playing under him, and signed permanent, and then Barry Ferguson left. That was the start of Blackpool's problems then.
Yeah, there was a revolving door, wasn't there, at the time?
Yeah, and obviously all the trouble with the chairman and the fans, and it was a tough time, and Jose Riga came in. We turned up with 6 players, but it was a challenge, and he made me captain of the team, and I was captain of a championship club and playing every week. And like I said, if you're playing football, and as soon as you play football, all your problems go away, and you just love playing games.
Yeah, and then you had to move to Bradford City, and you were a regular there for 3 seasons, and you played for them in the League One playoff final at Wembley.
Yeah, great memories of Bradford. I went there initially on loan. When Blackpool's problems were going on, it got to about the March time, and I went. Bradford rang me and said, "Would I come on loan?" And I thought, yeah, why not? You know what I mean? I went there and absolutely loved it. Massive club. We were getting 20,000, 18,000 in League One. It was unbelievable. And Stuart McCall, first Phil Parkinson had a great group of lads, great team, hard-working team, and he maximised he got the best out of everyone. And we went short in the playoffs. We lost in the semi-final to Millwall the first year, and then Phil left, and Stuart McCall came in, and it was unbelievable. He got us going. He made some unbelievable signings. We had a great squad. Got to the playoff final. Unfortunately, lost again to Millwall. But look, the chairman should have then kept everyone together, because we had a great team. Probably only Charlie White was probably the one that was always going to move. He was scoring goals, and he was the one that needed to move on. But the rest we could have kept and had another go the next season, like Millwall did the previous season. They lost in the final, but kept the same team, added 1 or 2. Following year, they beat us and went up. And that's what we should have done at Bradford, really. But chairman had other ideas and split the squad up and got rid of a lot of people, and it was the wrong thing to do, because we had a good team there that was capable of definitely getting out of League One.
Yeah, and you had another season at Bradford, didn't you, without really getting near the playoffs, and then you left then for Oxford United.
Yeah, Oxford didn't quite work out for me. I'll hold my hand to say that it was a time in my life, a difficult time in my life. I just lost my dad, and I spoke about going, and obviously I've got 3 children, so I wanted to be Northern, but I spoke to Carl Robinson. He wanted to win the league. Club invested good money into me, and he had a right go. He signed a few good players. Jamie Mackey was another good player who he brought in, and he wanted to have a go. And it was something that before Dad passed away that I spoke about, and I said, I want to go for it. I want to try it. And Dad was like, yeah, 100% go for it. You just no, get a promotion on your CV and it'll be brilliant, blah, blah, blah. And it didn't, I went there and I didn't settle. My family were obviously based in the North East. My children had school here, my wife's here. So I went down there on my own, but part of the thing was Dad was going to come down and stay sometimes with me. And I went there on my own, and I knew, and to be fair to Oxford, I didn't do well. And not that I didn't do well. I just didn't settle. I wasn't enjoying being away from home. So every opportunity I had, I was on the road back home, and it's no good travelling. It was 4 hours drive. It was a long. I had a 2-year contract, but then after 6 months, Stuart McCall rang me again. He'd got the Scunthorpe job, and I went there on. So I was back home then.
Yes.
Back in my football, back with a smile on my face, and really enjoyed Scunthorpe. And then Stuart left, and a new manager came in, and we should have stayed up really. We had a bit of a tough spell, and unfortunately got relegated. But Scunthorpe was a good club as well. But just that Oxford one is probably the only one I look back on, and that didn't quite work out. And it was only really distance of being away from the children.
Yeah. So you left Oxford, and you didn't play much at all in the season that's just ended.
No, I had another year on my contract, and we agreed in September to terminate the contract. Obviously, they wanted to say, and it was the right thing really, for both parties. They had money, so it was the right thing. And I came back, and I was driving back after and that's how my role at Middlesbrough came up. Was obviously
Right.
close to Jonathan Woodgate. He's a good friend of mine, and we were speaking on the phone. And he's like, "What are you doing now? What's your plans?" And I was like, "Don't really know." I said, "I'm driving back. I've just agreed everything, and I'm going to take some time out and see what I want to do and see what offers are there." And it was international break, so there was no games. And he said, "Do you want to come in and help me out?" Robbie Keane was away on international duty. And do I want to come in and see how things work? And I was like, "Yeah, brilliant, I'll come in." So I went in the next day and loved every minute of the coaching. He let me do stuff with the first team. I was doing work with individuals and helping in the academy. I was watching games for him. He was sending me to games and a bit of everything. I was like a sponge. I was just trying to gather as much information, because in the long term, I want to be a coach. I want to be a manager. So I thought, I'll have a look at it. And before you know it, it's now Christmas, and I'm still here, and I'm enjoying it. And then just after Christmas, the role came up in the academy, in the under 13-14s lead coach.
Right.
And the club asked me to take that. Do I want it? And Jonathan helped get me that job, and loved every second of it until middle of March, and everything shut down, and
it all collapsed, didn't it?
the country went standstill for the next 4 or 5 months. So yeah, that was really how the role in Middlesbrough came about. Yeah,
and you've been taking your coaching badges as well, haven't you? In the meantime.
Yes, I did my B license a couple of years ago, and then last summer I took my A license, and that was just about to get signed off in June, but obviously COVID has put a hold on it. But it's just there now. I've completed it. I've completed all the work. Spoke to the tutors, and they're happy with all my work and stuff like that. So it's just a matter of getting that signed off and getting my certificate. So I'm an A license coach, which is brilliant.
It must be an exciting step now for you, being appointed head of our academy as well as playing for the first time.
Yeah, that was massive, and like I said, I'm looking forward to playing. I am looking forward to getting my boots back out. I'll have to bang the dust off them, but I've kept myself fit. And when I was in at Middlesbrough, I joined in most days. I trained with the first team. Did you know what it's like if someone goes down injured, or they were short on a number, and Woody just used to say, "Oh, Macca, you join in." So me and Keno used to join in as well, as much as we loved it as well. So it's still fit and still looking forward, and it's like you never lose that buzz of playing. But when Alan said to me that I wanted to do the head of academy as well, it was an exciting proposition for me, and it was one that I couldn't really turn down. I could have waited. I had other things in different academies that might have developed, but I wanted to give it a go. And like I say, I can't wait to get going now. I went down, I've watched the kids train, and they need help. And like all kids, everyone can improve. And like you say, yeah, there might not be some good players, there might be some good, but ultimately I'm going to pass on all my experience. I'm going to make it fun for the kids, put hard work, and pass on to them what my coach has passed on to me coming through the academy. And like I say, if I can get even one up to the first team, I'd probably be up there with one of the biggest achievements in my career if I could help a young lad make it as a professional footballer.
Well, you've got plenty of experience in the game now, haven't you, really? Because when you were at the Borough, you played under two England managers, Steve McLaren and Gareth Southgate. So there's plenty of knowledge there to pass on to begin with.
Yeah, and that's looking, like I say, I keep looking back at the different managers I played under, and I take a lot from everyone. Whether it be good or bad, I've learned loads of things over the years, and I wrote a lot of things down throughout my career. Different things, how managers handle different situations, different sessions of anything that can help me in the future. I took a note of, and like I say, now it's time to bring all them out and pass on different things that I learned and different things that different managers taught me. And like I say, I just can't wait now for Tuesday and to get going with the kids and to see them working hard, but see them with a smile on the face. I want them to come in. I want them to enjoy it. I want them to get better as a footballer. And like I say, we've got a great course there with the run alongside the education. It'll be exciting times for them. I'm sure they'll enjoy it, and I'm enthusiastic. I've still got that same drive as what I had as a kid, and that'll still be the same drive as when I'm playing and also when I'm coaching.
Well, Tony, plenty of thanks for that. It's been great chatting to you. We're looking forward to seeing you in action and also in charge of the academy.
Brilliant. Thanks for having me, and great.